kuphi nakuphi emakhaya emadolobheni asekoplasta khona lapho ubukela khona SABC 1 sakamukela ke bekunene ke ehlelo lethu Yilungelo Lakho, it's your right. Sinethela ke lihlelo lapha kumahamba phambili SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. Mina ke ngingisimphiwe Ngcongwane. Namhla ke sitawubuyeketa indzaba yokuthi ke uma ke usaphila umuntu abe nelifa lelibhalwe phansi noma ke iwill. Kulungiselela ukuthi ke uma umuntu sekashonile bantfana tihlobo nemndeni nalabo ke lesiphathandzako basale banenfo lephathekako empilweni. Singamoshi isikhathi asingene shika endzabeni yethu namhla. Umndeni ke wasesoshanguve ufuna ke umthetho ke lo umgamele emva kokuthi ke babhekene ke imithwalo ke kukati bantfana labashonele ngumake wabo ukuthi ke ubashiyele ini noma ke will yini. Lokusho ukuthi umndeni ke walumye umntwana lebekathandzana nabo noma ke wababeka licala endlela yokuthini impahla amakwabo lo ashona ukuthi ke itawu distributeka kanjani. Na ungena bathembu Zansi usilethela ke indzaba.
Elizabeth Ngobeni ujongene noxanduva labazukulwana abashiwe ngunina. Kaloku unina wababantwana uLeah Ngobeni ulishiye eli ngesiquphe engenzanga nelifa iwill ngabula makhumsha. Esweleka nje unina wababantwana ahambisana naye uqiba kuthumela inkomo kusapho lakwaNgobeni.
Besazokhulumisana ngolobola. And then bathi mabafika la sakhulumisana sabatshela ukuthi thina sifuna i-30,000 yamalobola. Bathi bazobuya bazoqedelela 6,000 le bebayishile phezulu bakhiphe 24,000 kwasala 6,000 bathi bazobuya bazoyikhipha ngoDisemba. Azange basabuya.
Kuthe kusenjalo wasweleka uLeah eshiya ngasemva abantwana ababini esebekhulile nowesithathu oselula. Namfumene kule ndoda sweleke seyiqalisa ukumlobola. Umama uNgobeni utyhola ngokuba uthe nje akusweleka uLeah yahamba yayokubhalisa umtshato nomfi eHome Affairs le ndoda. Kwathi kusenjalo yakhupha abantwana endlini ukuba bayokuhlala nomakhulu wabo. Xesha elo umakhulu wabantwana uthi ngelixa uLeah egula wamyaleza ukuba aze amgcine laba bantwana ingakumbi uNtondo lo wamfumana kule ndoda. Uthi umakhulu wabantwana ibengalindelanga ukuba le ndoda seyingene egaphu kwizinto zelifa likaLeah ingagqibanga nokulobola.
Mama ubheke ukhanyisa ene laba bafana mabakhupha bangakuzwi ubayeke azange abe nawili. Ene mina ngithole iphepha ukuthi uLeah akane will ngithole master code. Ukuthi uLeah azange ayenzi will. Ene kusho ukuthi into zakhe akasheranga umuntu. Uzisukelela abantwana bakhe. So senzo wenza okunye nokunye ngenkani neloyara yakhe.
Uthi emva komncwabo baba nendibano belusapho nalapho wawabethelelayo amazwi okuyolela umfikazi esithi indlu yakhe iya ebantwaneni bakhe.
Ngifike ngabatshela ngathi indlu le ayithengiswa. Indlu yabantwana. Usenzo ngoba bekangaqedanga ukulobola. Uzothi masikhathi sifika sakuthi uLeah uqede umnyaka. Usenzo ahambe angeke ngimvimbe ukuthi ayofuna umunye umfazi.
Uthi wothuka xa esiva ukuba le ndoda seyizixakekise ngelifa likaLeah seyihambe yayokutsho nasezinkundleni zamatyala apho ifumene khona igunya lokubhalisa umtshato eHome Affairs nangona sele swelekile uLeah.
Mase baqeda uLeah ngiceda ukungcwaba uLeah bona bahamba bayovula ifayile ya estate. Mina angiyazi.
Oyingcali kwezomthetho uthi kufuneke kuqwalaselwe ukuba akukho nyawo lwemfene na kule nkqubo elandelwe ile ndoda ekubhaliseni lomtshato. Ithi le ngcali kumaphepha enkundla wabonileyo usapho lakwaNgobeni aluzange lubizwe ukuba luzokunika ubungqina balomtshato wesintu enkundleni.
It so appears that the Ngobeni family was represented by a law firm at the time. It is not us who were representing the Ngobeni family. It's another law firm that was representing them. Apparently, there were no opposing papers which were filed. which would essentially express the side of the story of the Ngubeni family as to whether they were opposing the posthumous registration of the marriage or they were agreeing thereto.
Umama uNgobeni uthi unyana omdala womfi wathe hambele kwindlu yathengwa ngunina wabuzwa ile ndoda ukuba ubekwa yini napho.
Senzo wambuza wathi kuye athi uzokuhlala phi? Athi ngizokuhlala endlini kamama. Athi phela le ndlu isemaloyareni. Lo mntana wamtshela wathi umama akashiyanga indlu yakhe emaloyareni.
Le ndoda izikhanyele zonke izithyolo atyatye kwazona zokutyimali kamfi nokuzifaka kwilifa lakhe. Iziphendulela le ndoda emnxebeni ithi nemali yaloo ndlu ayikabiwa ngenxa yoxambuliswano lolusapho. Ithi ezona njongo zomazala wayo kuqinisekisa ukuba ayixhamli kwaphela kwilifa lenkosikazi yayo. Ngokwasemthethweni ingcali zithi kunzima emva kweminyaka emithathu ukuphikisana noshicilelo lwalomtshato nezinto ezidibene nelifa, kodwa kukho inkolo yokuba njengoko omnye wababantwana esengaphantsi kweminyaka eli-18 usenokwazi ukuphikisana nenkqubo elandelweyo ekubhalisweni kwalomtshato. Ngelishwa ke uLiya usweleke engashiyanga ncwadi yelifa.
A will, she would have laid down her testament, her will, post her death as to what should happen to both her movable assets as well as her immovable assets. So a will would have ameliorated the dispute that we are faced up with today.
Into ebinokulamla kwesisimo kukuba umfi ebeshiye ilifa elibhaliweyo licacisa iminqweno yakhe. Nobathembu Zantsi, Yilungelo Lakho.
Sibonga lo mbiko ke manje ukhuluma kabanti ngenzaba yekubaluleka ke kwemawili kwindzabeni ngema estates. Asisimukele ke Funeka Mzilikazi lobuya eSociety of Advocates kanye ke na Tshepiso Mfunzana lobuya eMaster of the High Court. Ladies, good afternoon. Sanibukele ehleleni sanibonani.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Siyabonga.
Siyabulela Simphiwe masizibulisele kubabukeli emakhaya.
Siyabonga. Ngicela ngawe ke Funeka ukuthi ke ungaphawula uthini ke kule insert?
Into engingaphawula ngayo echuo ngugogo. Ugogo isikhalazo sakhe xa ndiva i-insert is engathi lo mtshato was actually negotiated but it was not yet entered and celebrated because uthi ilobolo ibhatelwe kodwa besingakayi kwinqanaba eliphambili lokutshata. So according to customary marriage ithi the marriage must be negotiated, entered and celebrated. Yes, ilobolo, it is a prima facie ukuthi bebesaxoxisana indabeni. But ugogo ukhalaza ukuthi umntwana wakhe usweleke engekangeni because bekusa negotiatiwe kuphela.
Kukhona emthethweni ukuthi ungatfola i-court order kungakalobolwa uhambe uyoregister umshado umndeni ungathi.
What happens here in this matter ngokuzwa kwami kule insert Simphiwe is kube mhlambi nokuxambulisana. Umkhwenyana, the surviving spouse, uye waya a court. And it seems like the matter went unopposed. Uyabona lonto uzofumana ba since ugogo ebengakwazi ukufunda uwanikiwe amaphepha waba mhlambi nommeli maybe imali yokubhatala I don't know what was the reason but uwanikilwe amaphepha there is a procedure ecourt okwanjwa ngayo angithi uzofumana ba uyawanikwa ama-summons wanikiwe ugogo and then after insuku you file a notice to oppose ukuthi ngiya oppose from this thing mhlambi ufumana ba ufakile oppose after 15 days bazakunika insuku ukuthi file answering affidavit. If you don't do those things, ufumana ba ke ngoku i-matter is gonna go unopposed because you are gonna be barred. Kuthi ukuthi awusazophendula because bakunikile insuku wangaphenduli asazi kwenze kanjani so ufumana ba the surviving spouse ubaba usenzo uhambile waziyele court kungekho umuntu omphikisanayo naye ukuthi unkosikazi wami lo and then wabeka ubufakazi bakhe ugogo ekhaya yena akazi mhlawumbe ukuthi uqhubeka lana wathola ke ngoku yena i-certificate somshado yiso ke lesi certificate somshado aye wakwazi ukuhamba ngaso akwazi ukuthi aclaim ukuthi this is my spouse ushonile yimi osalile nami ngino 50% because we married customarily and I have to claim 50%.
Kuyevakala. Tshepiso ungaphawula uthini?
Yes, watching the inset, I would speak from the side of the Master's Office. Ngabuncinane ndingathi nje umsebenzi wethu as the Master's Office is prescribed by law in terms of interstate succession, and not necessarily interstate succession, sorry, but we are a creature of statute. So we are made directly to be accountable for specific acts. Now, in this instant, we are talking about administration of estates, and then Imani Ikamgela also in the Intestate Succession Act as well as the Wills Act. So with the particular insert currently, what we just watched is that what I pick up a lot is also the question yokuthi ugogo mhlambe zikhona izinto angaziqondi yokuthi i-court igranta njani i-order yokuthi umuntu utshatile mna ndingazi. Kodwa ke we have to go back and understand ukuthi when we speak of a court order as the Master's Office, we are not in competition with the High Court. We abide by the decision of the court. The process in which Advocate Funeka has already alluded to say there's a process that they went through. And then with us, we're not involved in that process. When you come to the Master's Office, you come in, you say, Mnandi uSphiwe nditshate no Advocate Funeka unkosikazi wam. My first question is, where is your marriage certificate? And if you don't have that marriage certificate, we say, unfortunately, we are unable to assist you because asinabo ubungqina bokukhombisa ukuthi nyani bewutshate nomfi. So in this instance, I'm sure wajikiswa ubhuti, then wahamba wayenza i-application, and I take this is after he consulted with his legal practitioners. They gave him advice to say, in order for you to get a marriage certificate, this is the process. Unfortunately, because with our work is prescribed in terms of the act. Anything outside of that act, we will be acting ultra vires outside of the scope of our work. So we don't do that. So the recognition of marriages is part of the work or the act itself to say if the Home Affairs, the Department of Home Affairs is the custodian of recognition of marriages. They have their own processes. What we want at the end of the day is a product that says, I am married. And we say, how do you prove that you are married? We say, here is my marriage certificate. And on that basis, we proceed with the administration of deceased estate.
Does the office of the Master of the High Court then recognize umshado utfola ukuthi ke emalobolo akabhadalwa? Nayi marriage certificate ikona, but amalobolo akazange abhadalwa. So where does the Master of the High Court come in there?
Like I said, no involvement in terms of the law of what governs the Master's Office. To say, listen, when you come into our office, you say you want to report the estate.
But then how would you deal with such a case? How would you rule in terms of marriages? That's
the thing. We don't involve ourselves. We don't rule on the validity or the existence or non-existence. What you do is you come with a document that proves to say, I am married to so and so, and we ask you, how are you married to this person? You say either in terms of custom or in terms of the civil unions or whatever the case is, and we say, then you produce the document. If the document purports what it says it is, which is a marriage certificate issued by the Department of Home Affairs, we take it as evidence.
Now, Funeka, i-will ke ucabanga ukuthi ingabe ibasite kanjani bakangomeni as we've seen in the insert. Next nje nayo ngasichazela kabanti ke umxoka be-will ukuthi yini and the kind of role that it plays in the distribution of an estate.
I-will ibizonceda kakhulu. You know, ukwaba ilifa lakho Simphiwe usaphila. It's imperative. Because ibizobancede kwabangomeni ukuthi umama lo wakhona owasweleka ubezobhala phansi ukuthi indlu le yami engithengile ngilishiyela abantwana uyabona, and then imali ethile ye school fees. Manje bangaba ungenayo iwill, she died intestate. I mean, there are two types of death in South Africa. It's either you died testate, on a testamentary will, or intestate, which means you don't have a will. Then if ever what happened here, she died intestate, and it became uchukuti awusena mandla. Uyabona ukwabela abantwana bakho. Now you vested the powers to the laws of interstate. Ukuthi that's why ke
So ubani ke lotawabela ke bantwana lapho.
Then get that
Interstate.
That's what they'll follow now. That's why the surviving spouse here wakwazi ukuye ecourt wathatha indlu wayithengisa or whatever happened uzothola 50%.
So wena uthi ke ngubani ke lonemandla noma ke ilungelo lekwaba lomnotho noma lomcebo.
That's where we come in.
That's where they come in, yes.
That's where we come in.
The reason I'm asking this question ngoba ngifuna kuva iperspective yafuneka ukuthi imaster of the high court nangabe uyafika lo athi no sishadile but akazange abhadalwa ukuthi ke from the legal perspective uthini ke lapho ufuneka nangabe vele wena from a legal point of view kuthi ke malobola kabhadalwa does it validate the marriage as it were?
You know what will happen is in master of the high court, like she said, they are creatures of statutes. But Tata as it is, that evidence we are born.
Okay.
But if ever now you come to me, you know, in practice, then as an advocate, if ever nzochukuti, lo mtshado lona sisisa negotiatile bekungakafiki inqanaba lokuthi kuyachadwa. Like had it been ugogo wakwazi ukuyichallenge iapplication ekasenzo in court wayizoveza ukuthi isasengamalobolo. According to the customary act it must be negotiated, entered and celebrated when ugqibe process A1 which is a negotiation which is prima facie, so umtshado ubingekaqhubeki. But unfortunately it was unopposed. So ubaba uye wakwazi uproduce evidence yakho ugogo wangaphikisana nayo because of ebengazi or ubengenayo imali or whatever the reason that she stated. But maseke thatha ubaba because uyile high court akho umuntu ophikisane nayo uzothola certificate ukuthi nansi court order now wena siyavuma ukuthi ushadile nobanibani, and then ahambe home affairs producer that court order ayifumene, and then ID yamba na kuphuma certificate asuka ahambe aye ku master of high court. And then
asishiye lapho ke, please hold your thoughts, we'll continue with this discussion in just a moment. Asibambe lapho ke mbukele sisishele la setitolo, please do join us after this break. Leli Yilungelo Lakho, don't go away. Sawumolo futhi mbukele tingcino vathethu sadivule ukuthi nawe ungaba ingcenye lenkulumo yethu namhla ngwashela licingo khona manje la e-studio ku 0117140669 noma ke 0117140670. Ungasithumela futhi na-email ku consumer@sabc.co.za. Sitafakala futhi ku Facebook na ku Twitter. Let's take our first caller. Sina Anonymous ulapha ke kwaThema. Sakumele ehleleni sawubona.
Hello, kunjani?
Siyaphila kunjani baba?
Khona.
Khuluma nathi baba. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I think it's straight endabeni. I've got a case similar to le kagogo. My case is mina bekunomfazi 2018 washona. We were separated, not divorced, but we are talking, getting along because of abantwana. But to my surprise, all mutual yangifonela ngathi mina imali angifuni, i-state ngifuna ukuthi ebantwaneni. Then they said to me no, because of abantwana, just think for abantwana. Then for my social work experience, which I did. To cut matters short, what I want to say is, I discovered must apply a PFA ukuthi ugogo wabantwana wenza fraud. She lied under oath and sweat in a lawyer lakhe, but I'm nowhere to be found. When I raised that issue, even today, no one wants to attend that matter with me. Angeke bakhona kuyisolve what. So it's similar to lawyer ukuthi makunje sebayenzile abantu fraud. Which step to take makunje?
Okay. All right, Anonymous, thank you so much for your call. We do appreciate your time. Funeka, I'm going to start with you. How would you solve this matter?
Ubaba uthi ugogo wabantwana actually lied, committed a fraud.
Yes.
I think the best thing is to approach the police and report the matter because a fraud is a criminal offense. And then also ubaba is anga approach abameli like the lawyers. And then afike at state the matters ukuthi this is what has happened and aye a court and then nogogo angaziphendulela ukuthi why ngasho kanje.
Okay.
So yena ubhuti lo kufuneka azame ukuthi afone abameli if mhlambe akanayo imali angaya mhlambe even ecourt afune the pro bono office. Uyabona ubonakala ukuthi bangamsiza na labameli baya-check ukuthi uyaqualify na or awuqualify in terms ukuthi how much are you getting paid. So
i-pro bono office ngilapho ke ungabhadali lutho
awubhadali yes if uyaqualify.
Okay.
Bayivule imetha babone ukuthi what happened ngoba yena uthi no I was married. In fact ubhuti because was married if ever he was married in community of property, he is entitled to a 50% share of the estate before the other 50% iya ebantwaneni.
Okay, Tshepiso, how do you respond to that?
Yes, I do agree with what Advocate Funeka is saying. However, in the practical office when we deal with the estates, it will depend with when was this matter raised. We use different we've moved from one different electronic system to another one. So what happens is that when you launch your documents and you say this person is not married, we have a system that detects that it is not true. This person is registered with Home Affairs to be married to whoever individual. But I hear what he's saying to say the grandmother alleged that this person cannot be traced or cannot be found or whatever the case is. Unfortunately, in those circumstances, we can't prove or deny, we can't agree or deny or this person he cannot be traced or whatever the case is. So we deal with each case on its own merits depending on its complexity to say in certain circumstances, maybe there are minor children who depend on the deceased person. So we need to look at the interest of this minor children, which is our main job, to safeguard the interest of minor children. To say if this person cannot be traced, however, there are funds that can be used to assist the minor children. We will deal with the matter on its own merits to say this person cannot be traced. But then we will also ask, we're not unreasonable to say, give us proof to show that you have tried on countless accounts.
Sorry, and just to interrupt you, so in this particular instance, since Simvile anonymous uthi yena ke akayifuni le mali, but ufuna uthi bantwana babe the main beneficiaries of the estate.
No,
so master ke uthi lapho.
That's where the difficulty is with our communities, that we think that we will do as we think is correct. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. How it works is that it's either this testate or intestate.
Okay.
So it will depend on whether there is a will or there is no will. If there is a will, we will go exactly according to the will. If there is no will, we are going to invoke the provisions of Intestate Succession Act. So the Intestate Succession Act will direct us to say, in these circumstances, because there's no will, this is what must happen. It must go to this person. In terms of intestate succession, section 1A, it tabulates all the way until F, I think. So it tells you, it's already prescribed. The law makes provision as to what must happen. I also heard, I'm sorry, I will just go on further a bit, with Gogo also, Gogo Ngubeni on the insert, where she said that she does not want this house to be sold. Unfortunately, it's not up to her, considering the fact that we have a court order that has already established the existence of a valid customary marriage. Unfortunately, it's not up to her. It's according to the law, what the law prescribes.
Yeah. Please hold your thought. We've got another caller. Sinalerato lapha eParis. Ngumodeli hleleni sabona.
Sabona bhuti kunjani?
Siyaphila kunjani?
Siyaphila.
Siyaphila. What's on your mind? Khuluma nathi.
Umbuzo wami ukusithi ne sibe sine boyfriend ne isoreke 2020 abantwana bayi3 plus owes4 ona 27 years. So ingxaki ukuthi usisi we umfi akafuna usisherela ngoba yena naye ufuna ishares. So uyala ngamaphepha asikhona uclaim asikhona ukujilutho ufuna asiclaim under yena ne letter of authority ufuna iphume ngayi.
All right, Lerato, thank you so much for your call. Sama kakhulu ukushayela. Tinintetho ke titakudzaba ukuchazela ukusita futhi emva kwaleli khefu. Wanyalo ke esiphinda sijikela ngasethi tolo mbukela ihlala kanye nathi ungasanyakadi. Leli lungelo lakho. Welcome back. Kumbula ukuthi tincingo tethu solo tivuliwe ukuthi nama ungaba ingcenye yenkulumo yethu namhla. You can call our participation lines right now here in studio. The number to call is on the screen right now, 0117140669, nomage 0117140670. You can also email your views to consumer@sabc.co.za or catch us on our social media platforms. Namhla ke sikhuluma ngibumcoka bewheel noma ke ukuthi ke umcebo wakho ubhale phasi kuze ukuthi ke na ukhothama sathi ke ukuthi ke bantu bakho noma ke tihlobo noma ke umndeni nabo bonke lobathandzako ukuthi bataba nendlela ephathekako lutabashiyela yona. Namhla ke sina Advocate Funeka Mzilikazi ubuya ke lapha Advocate Society for Advocates kanye ke na Tshepiso ubuya ke lapha ka Master of the High Court. Now ngicela ukuthi sichaze kabanti ke lo the previous caller ukuthi yena ke inkinga yakhe ukuthi ungayicathulela uyithini.
The previous caller, what I can say Simpiwe is the sister akana local stand. Those
Lungelo.
Yeah, akanali Lungelo. Labo bantwana, the minor children that are left behind. They have guardians, their mothers. So yena akanayo imvume yokuthi uzothi no because my brother passed on imali yonke izongena kum and I must be appointed as a guardian or executor. No, it does not work like that.
Okay.
Powers they'll be vested on the guardians, mama babantwana. And then that's where also it goes to the Master of High Court that will determine babonba wenzeka kanjani who is the legal guardian. Okay. If ever abatraceki mhlambi the mothers of those children, imali yahlala kwi guardian fund for 30 years. But abantwana when they reach a majority of 18, they can be given imali.
Oh, okay. Okay. Njengoba bobushito ke Tshepiso ukuthi vele ke ma interest ngema minors. Ukuthi njengoba sakashito ke funeka ukuthi nangabe ema guardian noma ke batali balaba bantwana abatraceki. Ukuthi nasibafike kulo 18 can they wait for lo 30 years noma once bafika nje ku 18 then
once they the guardians fund once they reach the age of majority currently which is 18 years they are able to claim the funds in their own personal capacity. So I hear what Funeka is currently saying to say Usisi does not have a local stand. It's more or less similar to Historiska Gog. Unfortunately, the law is what it is. The law is what it is, not what it ought to be. It's a principle of the law. As much as it sounds unfortunate to say who has the best interest of the law, if it says this is what currently must happen, that is exactly what we do. It goes. So, like she said, Ori, the children, the minor children, they have guardians. So sometimes it could happen that they actually don't have somebody who looks after them. So, like I said, the master's office, the master generally, her main duty is to protect the interest of minor children and widows. It's our primary job. So, for us, like I said, each case on its own merits. It does not serve the purpose of the minor children if we are going to take 6 million and put it in the guardians fund to wait for them when they are 18 years to claim it at a later stage. Yet they can't pay school fees now. They can. So those are some of the things the considerations that the master takes into account to say, at this present moment, it doesn't serve anyone to have this money only for them to wait for 18 years, yet there's no somebody who's taking care of them currently. So those are some of the intricate issues that we deal with on a daily basis. But like I said, it's each case on its own merits.
All right, let's take our next caller. Sinakekana ulapha ke Harry Smith. Sagumude ehlelweni sabona. Siyaphila kunjani baba? Siyabonga khuluma nathi baba.
Inkinga enginayo kakhulu inkinga yewili. Iwili ithatha isikhathi eside. So ngenkathi kupreparwa i-paperwork mawenze iwili ushiyele ingane uthola ukuthi 6 months noma u10 ingane zilindile ngaleso sikhathi zihambe ziyaboleka ziyasizwa abantu abazisizayo ngenkathi amalungiselelo wewili salungile inenkathi nemali abayikolodayo sokuyimali eningi ayikho yini indlela la endabeni yewili ukuthi kusesikhathi ingane zingasheshe zilungiselele ukuthi zikhona ukuthola imali okanye uthola ukuthi ingane ayikakamenzi 18 years uma ingakafiki 18 years labantu abazobe bayigadile ngaleso sikhathi izokhula kanzima ize igcine kwesinye isikhathi ingene empini yedakamizwa seyidlabonyawube nezinto ezingadingeki emzimbeni kube nenkinga-ke manje ingane ayisakhona ukuperforma ngenxa yokuthi ikade ingenamali imali kuwukuthi abazali bekade bayishiye okanye iwili kade yenziwe.
Alright, Kekana, siyabonga kakhulu ke kusishayela. Kekana there is from Harry Smith. Advocate Funeka, sicela ngawe.
Siyabonga Tatu Kekana. What I can say is kubabu Kekana, it depends how you draft your will. Uyabona Simpiwe for instance, uyatsho ukuthi ufumana basithatha the pension, uyabona une old mutual, une insurance policy. You can state in your will ukuthi le insurance policy ingene straight ebantwaneni. You nominate them as beneficiaries. Ayingeni kwa ku estate. Immediately after your death, ingena straight to i-account yabantwana. Ma ukhona nemali obeyibeka ukuthi ipolicy ethile, immediately it must be released for umncwabo wami nemali ethile. Abantwana le mali engaka izongena straight esikolweni. That money, because it's got nominated beneficiaries, those policies, they are not part of the estate. So izongena straight, so yenze into kube lula. That's why ngitsho ukuthi indlela oyibhale ngayo yona iwili ukuthi cacisa kahle phela ukuthi le igeda straight ebantwaneni, le isikolo, le yokuthi bafunde emaboarding, le iyobhatara esikoleti, le izongena nje kwi-estate yami.
What if ke bantwana bede ke legal guardian and basesebancane? I think ngiyayiva ke ngingale khuluma ngekekana lapha ukuthi manje labantwana kuze ukuthi bafike kulo 18 batawuphila ngani in the interim?
Angithi imali ingene straight like ubhalile kuwilu, izongena straight ebantwaneni, iyizaya ku Master of High Court baza bavulela i-trust. Abantwana uzofumana ba ama social workers, they come into play.
But benefit even before bafike ku 18.
Ba benefit abantwana bayafunda and imali ingene straight from imali ye pension ochila ukuthi le policy le yabantwana yimali isikolo ingena straight to ebantwaneni, ayisiphathi ye estate. Ingena straight esikolweni, so ba benefit nama social worker aya assist. Or sometimes there's a time where ufumana ukuthi they appoint a curator ad litem that plays a role in ufumana ba ne court bayaya e court. When you appoint a curator ad litem imela lo mntwana.
Yini ke le curator ad litem?
I-curator ad litem ngizothi umuntu o-appointwe yi-court, uba appointa mhlambe ngaba i-accountant, ngaba i-advocate, ngaba i-lawyer, ufumane ukuba ingumzali walo mntwana. Yonke imele yena imali before iphuma ukuthi umntwana uyafundwa, i-court iphumile nje ukuthi nangu usisi uyi-curator ad litem. Uzonaka yonke ilentoza izinto imfanelo zalo mntwana ngale mali ephumile ekule trust.
Okay, Tshepiso uyavumelana?
Yes, just to add to that, like you mentioned the issue of a testament, I mean a trust, a living trust, which is something very important that you don't even have to wait for you to die first to create it. It's a living trust. So the most important thing, Uguti, you can create a trust while you are still alive, or you can create a trust in your testament to say you put all your funds into that trust, and that trust is going to be managed by professionals which we call trustees. So it's even better than like to avoid what Utata just said, Uguti. Sometimes yabanika abantwana bayimosha imali bayisebenzisa into zabo, but then when you have a trust, you're safeguarding the manner in which the money is used, because the trustees, they are charged with the responsibility of ensuring that the funds as they go out with accountability, because with that trust created, they also appoint an auditor in the process to say the funds are audited, so the Trust Property Control Act will guide them on how to control that trust, how the funds to be accountable also as to how much and when can you take all those things. Just to add on that.
All right. For now, let's take another commercial break. Asihlangane ke nasasibuya etitolo. Leli Yilungelo Lakho ungasanyakati. Siyabuya khona manje.
Kumganwa 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 kumganwa
Welcome back. Ungashare licingo khona lapha e-studio ukuthi ungaba ingcenye yethu yale nkulumo namhla. Call us right now on 011-714-0669 or 011-714-0670. Email yethu ke solo consumer@sabc.co.za, or you can interact with us on Facebook or on Twitter. You can post your questions there and we'll try to answer as many questions as we possibly can. Now ladies, ngifuna ukuthi nisichazele kabanti ke ngema processes eku appointer an executor of an estate. Siqala ngokusimplify ukuthi yini executor ye-estate nokuthi ke what goes into the appointment of such an executor.
All right, that is the job of the master now.
Yes.
To say, I would like to first clarify there are two letters that we issue as the master's office. It's the letter of authority and letter of executorship. The two, in most cases, people tend to think that it's more or less the same. It's not. It's not the same. A letter of authority is a letter that we issue in terms of Section 18.3 of the Administration of Deceased Estate Act. Now, this is where the deceased person had assets that are valued under 250,000. So in this instance, we appoint what we call a master's representative. So the master's representative, there's one notion also that I want to really clarify that I hope viewers at home will also help us in understanding this. To say when you are a master's representative and you hold letters of authority in your name, that does not make you the beneficiary of that estate. There's always been a thing that when you have the letters of authority, the assets that of the deceased belong to you. It could be that the deceased still had a will. So as the master's representative, it's an office, it's a job. So it could be that you are also a beneficiary. It's not impossible. It could be that you are also a beneficiary, but the fact that the letters of authority are in your name does not mean that you are the only beneficiary of that estate. So, or you are, because sometimes that person could not even be, it could be that that person is not even a beneficiary of that estate. So we appoint that in an instance where the deceased died with assets that are less than 250,000. Now, the letters of executorship, these are letters of executorship, which is also an office. It's a job. You are representing the interest of the deceased person. You are in an instance, you are the deceased person. So you act as if you are that person. So it's a job where once you have that letters of executorship, you have a duty now. It's a job where you need to collect the assets of the deceased, and you have a duty also to distribute them according to either intestate or in terms of the Wills Act.
Okay, so who appoint a executor? Does it appoint if the deceased has died, testate or intestate?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
That is determined in terms of the value of the estate. So remember I said in terms of Section 18.3, we appoint a master's representative because the assets of the deceased are less than 250,000. So then now we appoint an executor when the assets are above 250,000. So with those assets now, as an executor now, the job of an executor and that of a master's representative, they differ in the sense that the job of an executor, they are a bit more extensive because now you have a duty of advertising the death of this person. You have a duty to draft a liquidation and distribution account. You have a duty also to pay off the debts of the deceased and all those other things. So it's a bit intricate than the 18.3, which is the letter of authority, which is a bit simplified.
All right, please hold your thought. Let's take our next caller. Sina Joel Lakho ke mahigeng sa kumule hleleni sawubona.
Yes, how are you, my brother? I'm fine. I'm calling from Mafikeng. Mainly we speak Setswana, but I'll try to speak English.
Yes, welcome. You're welcome. Please tell us what's on your mind.
Come again?
What's on your mind, sir? Talk to us. What's on your mind?
Go straight to my problem.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I had a son who passed on in 2021. Me and her mom were married and we divorced some years ago, 30 or so years ago. And she decided to take responsibility of the estate alone without my involvement. And there is a minor child who I'm looking at, especially from cultural point of view. So that is my question. The estate has been abused because there was 2 cars that were supposed to be sold, and the money could be taken to Guardian Estate or to wherever trust. But then she converted the names, the cars into her names, and it is now her cars. And my problem is now it doesn't benefit the child. It's like if I've taken them myself and then it doesn't benefit the child and so forth. That is my question.
All right, Joel, thank you so much for your question. Please tune in to SABC 1. We'll have your answer shortly after this break. Let's now take our final ad break. Aslan Naspuya Etitolo, Yilungelo Lakho. Welcome to our very, very last segment. Before we wrap the show, Advocate.
Okay. What I can say to Ubaba, what happened is, I think if I heard Ubaba properly is, Oti, the son passed on, leaving a minor child.
Yeah.
And then the grandmother took control of the estate and sold everything, the cars, and Umtana now is suffering. What was supposed to happen is, if ever there was a will, Simpiwe, it was going to be divided according to the, the wish of the father, or the, But now in this case, I think it was interstate. I think what was supposed to happen, it was supposed to, the money was supposed to be kept for the child and not for Ugogo to use.
Okay.
Or either the money be kept on the guardian fund up until Umntwana turns 18.
Okay.
That's
so,
where,
yeah.
But I think Ugogo maybe azanga veze ukuthi there is a minor child that is involved in this matter. So maybe she claimed as if, no, it's my son passed on and this is mine. So maybe the master of the High Court was not aware.
Nangabe ke ngine will and then ngidecide ukuthatha umfati wesibili noma ke ngidecide ke kuba nalomunye umfana ngaphandle, do I ngoba ngifuna kuba include kule will?
Yes.
So do I start afresh ngende iwill lenye noma kuba nalenye a supporting document etawusho ukuthi ingeta kule will lekhona?
Yes, that's where i-codicil will come from. Uzofumana ukuba there's a difference between a will and a codicil. A codicil is an addendum that is attached to the will.
Okay.
Let me say 2000 uphe ushwele umntanakho iwill 50,000 rent,
Yeah.
It was 50,000. That's what you could afford then. But now it's 2023. Ufuna ukuyinyusa to be 1 million. You can actually write an add to that will, addendum, ukuthi no, will is still valid, that one of 2,000 that I've drafted. Yes. But now the amount is increased from 50,000 to 1 million.
Okay.
That's why we need to review the wills. Each and every year after 6 months, check ababa iwill ukuthi ngaba isase the way oyifuna ngakhona na.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Tshepiso, just be as briefly as you possibly can. Ukuthi ke nabe ngidrafta iwill, what are the factors that should go into drafting that will? Okay. Do I have to go to the lawyers? Do I have to go to the bank? Or noma ngathi bhalela nje iwill ngepen?
A will, it's a very simple document. It's a document that you can draft even in your own language. However, there are legal requirements that makes it a valid will. Ukuthi fanele ibe ibhaliwe, and then ifanele ube isignilwe originally, and ifanele uba it comply with the requirements in terms of the Wills Act to say ifanele uba it's witnessed by competent witnesses. And then in a case where somebody mhlamba akakwazi ubhala uyakwazi ubeka i-cross, so xa ubeka i-cross, that will must be commissioned by a commissioner of oath. That commissioner of oath must be present when you write that document, and also as you put that cross, either you put a thumb or you put a cross, whichever rocks your boat, it works. So, however, that must be witnessed by a competent witness. It must be commissioned by...
Unfortunately, we're out of time. But a will is not so complicated.
It's not at all.
It's not complicated. But thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. We do appreciate your time. We certainly hope that we're going to have another topic, in continuation of this, because this is a very, very important topic. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you.
Let me thank our studio guests for making time to be on the show this afternoon. Manje asihlangane futhi ngesikhathi lesitako lapho-ke sitabe sinilethela-ke lenye indzaba litawutsinza wena nemalungelo akho njengemthengi. Khumbula-ke ukuthi-ke siyatfolakala futhi naku-SABC Plus. For me, Tshepiso Mfunzana and the rest of the team, sizinisale kahle and do have a great week ahead. Cheers.
Yilungelo